Welcome back, everybody. I hope that you are finding time to enjoy a bit of this summer. Here in London, we had Sunfest this last weekend. I know some of you were able to visit that. Since I've been in London, I've certainly appreciated the work that goes into it and, of course, the final product. It's good energy. People are happy. You hear so many different sounds, smells, so many different smells from all the different food from all over. So my family and I had a great time this last weekend off and on. Today you might hear a few sounds from children in the background because we have a day camp. El Sistema is running a little summer camp here, and so summer is in full swing. And some of us may be elsewhere, but for those of us that are in London, we're taking full advantage of camp opportunities and festivals, and are appreciating perhaps a little bit of the rain that we're getting today to kind of cool things down a bit. I want to first off say that this last Sunday, some of you might detect, is really a continuation. I hadn't thought about it leading into the sermon, but there have been 2, 3, possibly 4 different sermons over the last month or two that are building on and maybe emphasizing the same thing, which is the relational core of our existence and the fact that we can't run away from our responsibilities. Now, we can refuse them. We can act as though we are not created with the ability to respond. We can act as though it's too big, it's too much, who am I? And we know, of course, that there were many prophets before us, which I referenced this weekend on Sunday, who did that. That was their first response to being called by God was, who am I? They're not going to listen to me. What can I do to affect change? I have no doubt that so many of us on a regular basis deal with that dilemma. And sometimes we simply put it aside. We focus our attention elsewhere. Maybe we seek some form of distraction. I know I do. But this Sunday, I was trying to really highlight the fact that even when and through the distractions that we seek, or the putting it on the back burner, as my grandmother would say, even through those practices, the responsibility remains. We, each of us, are uniquely called into a certain personhood. And I believe that personhood, as Dietrich Bonhoeffer, our ancestor in the faith, would say, is inextricable from service and relationship to our siblings. And we could even extend that into say all our relations. We have a deep and abiding responsibility to the earth, to creation, to our siblings. And when I said that you can't run from it, it doesn't mean you can't turn a blind eye, but it's still there. No matter how many vacations you take, no matter how many efforts you make at escaping it, when you come back, it's sitting there waiting for you. I've heard it said that God will continue. God is like, and I've mentioned this before in sermons, the little child that will not let up, that continues to ask you for the thing again and again and again. And it will frustrate you just as the 4, 5, and 6-year-old can at times frustrate you with their repeated line of questioning. God continues to invite us, and of course, is patient enough with us to accept our refusals, our rebuttals, our anger, and our frustration. Nevertheless, the response that is required of us will continue to be required of us every day for the rest of our lives. And as much as we run from it, it's actually what gives our life meaning. That's the irony that I find, is that we spend most of our time running from that which grants us a unique personhood, gives our life a fullness and a richness. But perhaps because of some of the pain and the suffering that we've endured in life, some of our fears around being adequate and up to a task, those actually keep us from experiencing the fullness and the joy and the wonder of tackling something huge, something bigger than ourselves, of throwing ourselves into this great, wondrous adventure into which we have been called by our Creator. So this Sunday, I hope that you were able to take some of that compassionate invitation, which can be a little strong sometimes, let's face it, right? It's there, it's thumping away, wanting your attention. but it is always an invitation. You do have the free will to say otherwise or to choose otherwise. But I would leave you with this. When you begin to choose other things and you spend too much of your time doing that, you're actually avoiding beauty, wonder, and joy in life. You're not securing it. You're not capturing it. You're avoiding it. And so hopefully we can move away from our tendency to distract, right? And to project all of our responsibility onto another person, which is the situation with the people in Jesus, right? He's trying to avoid being made a king. I'm inviting you to take on that responsibility and to experience the fullness of meaning that comes from it, because I believe that if we can all manage to do that and encourage others to do the same, we will see tremendous changes in our world, a world that needs change. Thank you so much for joining me today, and look forward to seeing you Sunday, and if not then, perhaps the Tuesday following for our next postscript. Have a good day.